So, what happened to that $17.50 an hour retail job that I interviewed for on the 3rd? Well, they decided to go with another candidate. And that's fine. Because when I really got to thinking about it, it was 32 hours a week, which is a whole day more than I really want to work. I want to work like 3 days a week. Not really any more than that. The pay was good. $17.50 is a great hourly rate for an entry-level grocery store job. But, as you might expect, it was a little red flaggy. First of all, they texted me and messaged me way too often. Way too often. I'm on my phone, so I can't show you, but I got the initial message to sign up for the interview time. And the message made it sound like there was more than one time. There wasn't. It was, Thursday, October the 3rd at 3 p.m. or not at all. I mean, fine. I went over and asked my neighbor if she could take me. And she said yes. She had some other things she needed to do in town, so she took me to the interview. Great. I figured if I got the job, I'd figure out how to get there on a more permanent basis. But I got the initial call, text message. I got another text message like 24 hours out. I got another text message like 8 hours out, and it had a fact in it on what you should wear and do and bring. And I did all that. And then I got like the 1 hour warning email. It was really weird. Just too many text messages. And I got there, and there's 10 other people there. Not a problem. And I'm standing there talking to people up front, trying to get a feel for where they're from. And the economy is crap. That's kind of what I walked away from, like what I got out of that conversation. But while I'm standing there, the assistant manager walks up and says hi to somebody way, way, way behind me. And he's like, "Oh, how you doing? It's good to see you," blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out I'm just a regular customer. He comes in all the time. They know who this person is. She obviously has a repartee with the assistant manager. Why are the rest of us even there? Because we know who's going to get hired at this point. But prior to that moment, I figured it was either going to be me or the lady in front of me, because she was put together really well too. So me and her went first, and then they decided to swap out and put the second group up for the interviews without doing the rest of my group. Meaning that all 8 of those other people would then have to stand in line after their store tour and wait even longer. I got in and out of there pretty quick. But there were just a few warning signs. The lady was like, "Yeah, I've been with this company 20 years. Uh-oh. So she's been with the company just long enough to get her female dog qualifications. She thinks she is something. And that ain't good. I found at the 20-year mark, whenever anybody's going, "I've been at this company 20 years," they've been there just long enough to cop an attitude. And they think there's some hot duty in the toilet. Red flag number one. And she starts talking to me about how many people they've trained. That I'm really, 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 really overeducated. And I'm really, 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 really overeducated in corporate training. So she starts telling me about all these managers and stuff that she's trained. And I said, oh, you're a training store. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, we're not a training store, but we've trained, blah, blah. Are you or are you not a training store? Because I'm interested in the training store aspect. But anyway, so I don't know what that was about. When we go back to the tour, and all the new people are stuck in the coolers and the freezer. Oh, hell. So if you're new, they're going to put you for an 8-hour shift in those coolers and freezers. Usually, what happens is that they will show you the coolers and the freezers. But most of these stores have somebody that loves the coolers and the freezers. They don't mind the cold. Doesn't bother them one bit. They work the coolers and the freezers because they love it. And they train everyone else for that person's days off or if they accidentally get sick or whatever. Not apparently this store. So right off the bat, you're going to freeze your ass off in those coolers and freezers for an indeterminate length of time. That's a problem. I can't tolerate the cold. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't tolerate the cold. Anytime I've ever worked a job where I had to do coolers more than once or twice to get the ropes in case I had to take over for whoever loved to do it, I either ended up with pneumonia or bronchitis. So great. Thanks. I do believe there's a urgent care across the street, so wonderful. So that sucked. And then the store's operating hours were from like 9 o'clock to 8 p.m. 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Perfect. If I have to, I can get up at 6 and walk there and be there by 9. But that's not what it is. Their first shift starts at 6 a.m., which means if I had to walk it, I'd be getting up at 3 a.m. to walk 3 hours to go to this job. And then they tell me that their attendance policy has a 3 strikes and you're out. Really? What exactly counts as a strike? Is that, 1 minute late, 2 minutes late, 10 minutes late, 30 minutes late, a no call, no show? What is that? Because I'm telling you, if you're going to strike somebody if they're 2 minutes late, I'm one of those people that'd be like, oh, you're going to strike me. Okay, I'm going to go home. Strike's a strike, right? Why should I stay? So I didn't like that because that's too juvenile for my liking. I assume that grown adults will show up within a reasonable time frame around the time that they're supposed to start. And as a manager, I wasn't terribly stickler about it. If you're 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late, I just don't care. Now, if you're going to be 30 minutes late, please call and let me know. Not so I can write you up or tell you about it, but so I know what to expect. And that's kind of how I ran my shifts. Now, if you regularly showed up 30 minutes late and didn't call me, didn't text me, didn't tell me about it, eventually, I was going to have to talk to that person and be like, dude, you can't be late all the time like this. So I didn't like that. And the fact said they wanted a follow-up memo to thank them for the interview. No. We're not doing a thank you for an intro job where you're going to shove the new people into the ice-cold freezer and see how long it takes them to turn blue. God. And then about 2 hours after that, store said, we don't want you, because they hired the person that was behind me that they already knew they were going to hire. The other store called, and that was the store I interviewed with on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's what happened to that first store. And to be honest, I don't think I'll apply again. There were some other stores in that area, craft stores, that I would be more interested in than freezing my tail off in a walk-in cooler. So yeah, there's where we are. All right. Thanks for listening and watching, and like and subscribe if you are so motivated to do so, and I will talk to you later.